We built this out of our own need, and now we want to share it with you because anything really is possible with AI. Whatever kind of challenge you are having, you can utilize AI to be able to help you get through it. Not to take the human piece out of it, right? HI, AI, they're both combined. You can't really have one. You can't have AI without the human component of it, and it should stay that way.
The next wave of business leaders won't just use AI, they'll master momentum with it. Starting now. Welcome to the Mastering AI Momentum Show, where visionary founders and driven business leaders turn artificial intelligence, automation, and scalable systems into real growth, real scale, and real freedom. If you're ready to break bottlenecks, reclaim your title, and scale smarter, this is your playbook. Let's dive in. Here are your hosts, Aly Porter and Elise Smith.
Hello. Welcome everyone to the Mastering AI Momentum Show. And today we get to run this show together, both Aly and I. You probably see me a lot with all the interviews, but this is my incredible business partner, Aly. So I'm Elise Smith, your AI business strategist, and this is Aly. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm so excited to be on the show, Elise. Thank you so much for just hosting it and for having all these amazing guests that we have. And it's just so awesome. So I'm Aly Porter and I'm your freedom connector. And I love to just connect everyone with the life that they want to live, including AI, right? That's what we're talking about today.
Exactly. Yes. So you'll see us a couple of times a month do these shows together because we love talking about AI and the impact that it has in your impact. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about here today. So most partnerships break up because of poor communication, right? Unfortunately, that's true. And not even just partnerships, but even relationships within your company, whether it's you with your executive team or whatever it is. Ours nearly did again this week. And we'll go into detail how that worked. But instead of letting emotions spiral or having yourself stay stuck, we actually used AI to help us find common ground. So in today's episode, we're breaking down the real conversation that almost derailed us and how we found the fix using our own AI communication assistant that you're going to be able to have access to as well. So let's dive into it here a little bit. So Aly, do you want to kind of tell a little bit of some of the tension between us?
Yeah. So let's just be honest. We are very different people. We like different things. We handle situations differently. Even our energy is different. Our thought process, pretty much everything that could possibly be different is different about us. But that's also what makes us such an amazing team, because we cover every single angle you can possibly think of. And it's rare to find a partnership like that. And so I will tell you just really quickly, in the past, I've had 2 or 3 other partnerships and they all fell apart because of this very thing that we're going to talk about today. And had we had AI back in the day, it would have been so much easier to be able to, work through all of this, because we're human, right? We have emotions, we have things that are frustrating, things that work, things that don't work. And you also have the actual strategy around a business, the logistics of it, right? The operations of how things should run. And when you don't see eye to eye on that derails the business, because now you can't operate it because you're looking at it from 2 different angles. And when you're in a partnership, that makes it really difficult. So
yeah, it totally does. And the thing about miscommunication is that we just assume that the other person knows what we're thinking. Mm-hmm. and that's where AI comes in such a huge way. But just to give you a little bit of background, I mean, Aly and I have been business partners for 3 years now, probably a little bit longer than that. And we're also best friends as well, which also really, really helps the situation. And we want to figure it out. So for instance, I am a strategist. That is just who I am. And Aly is a visionary, and that's just who she is. And together we make a really incredible team. But what happens a lot of times, and you probably have seen this with your own business, and it could be within your own self, or it could be with another member of your team or your, co-founders, or whatever that might look like for you. But because she's a visionary, she wants to just run and take off and go implement her ideas, right? And that's just how visionaries are. I mean, I've known quite a few different visionaries, and it's okay, this is the idea I have on Monday. Tuesday, we need to implement it. Wednesday, we need to launch.
But we don't
Right.
actually want to do any of that part. We just know that that's where it needs to go. But we need somebody else to like actually figure out how all the pieces work together, which is why people like Elise are like, what the heck? Like, this is not realistic. You can't do that, you know? And we're
Uh-huh.
like, yes, you can. Just believe it'll work out.
Just believe. Exactly. Yeah. And then from a strategy standpoint and an execution standpoint, it's like, yeah, but we need to map out the whole process. And we need to understand like what pieces connect with what pieces and what we need to, have our team do in order to be able to fulfill on that. And there's just so many logistical things that visionaries don't take into account. And there's nothing wrong with either side. Yeah, like she is such a beautiful visionary that there's no way we would be where we're at in our business right now without Aly's vision. And she helps me to buy into it. And then we create amazing things together, including this AI communication companion, if you want to call it that. But it gets frustrating for someone who's a strategist and an executioner to execute on these ideas, especially if she has them every week.
Or if I like change it from Monday to Wednesday, right? And I keep changing it. I'm like, oh, wait, actually, no, this is the way we need to go, Yeah,
Mhm,
it can be really
exactly.
hard. And it's hard too, because it's not that we're in a partnership. If you're in a partnership right now, whether it's at the corporate level, whether you're, just or whatever business you have, it doesn't matter. But I'm sure that you can relate to that, where you're just like, we want to work together. Like, we want to make it work. Like, we truly do. And we don't also want business to come between the friendship, because that's the other thing that happens is it's very rare to be able to be like best friends with somebody and do business with them. Like, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day, but it really does make it hard. And so again, and we'll talk more about the specifics of how we were able to work through it, but just to give you some context, like it literally saved our business multiple times,
Multiple times.
literally multiple times. So
Exactly, which is why we wanted to share it with you guys, because this is such an incredible breakthrough, because that's where miscommunication happens, right? I'm only seeing it from my perspective. Aly's only seeing it from her perspective. So how do you get the two perspectives to talk to each other? And in olden days, right, before we had AI, you would just hash it out and have that conversation. And I'm not saying that that's not what we do, and we'll tell you kind of exactly how we were able to get through some of those things. But what happens is that if I'm only seeing my perspective and she's only seeing her perspective, and we want to see each other's perspectives, but we're so stuck in the box that we're in that we can't. And so we need a tool. And I really think every company needs a tool to be able to work on communication to help see both sides. So what was happening is I was getting defensive with Aly about, how she is a visionary and how she is. And even though I knew that's not her fault, like she's not doing anything wrong, but I needed to like say and get my frustration out, right? And then that just makes her defensive, because it's also happened the other way around as well. And we don't get anywhere. And I will tell you, yesterday, I was really like terrified that we were going to have to just go our separate ways and like break down the company, which is crazy, because that is not like, yes, we know we're not married and we're not saying that, but like divorce in this partnership is not an option. We don't say the D word. But we needed was something to be able to mediate for us. And therefore, we created our own AI agent to be able to help with that. So here's how it went down. So do you want to actually tell a little bit about the process, like how we get it on the line and we just kind of talk to it?
yeah, it's really simple, but it's simple if you're using it, right? But on the back end, there's a lot of things that you have to figure out on the back end to make it work the way that you want. So that's what we've been working on, is just tweaking it and tweaking it and tweaking it and making sure that it does what we need it to do on the back end. But as a user, it's been really, really cool to see. So literally how we do it is we share our points of view. We say, okay, look, here's the situation. Here's what we're dealing with. And this is my perspective, right? I'll say, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm frustrated with. I'm trying to see where she's coming from, but I'm not seeing it. I need this help or whatever. And then Elise will do the same thing. And the thing that I love about it is that it will validate both sides. It'll be like, okay, I see your perspective. Like, yes, this is good. This is, whatever. And then it will also validate, the other perspective, but then it will help both of us to see it in our language, in the way that we think, but from the other person's perspective. It's interesting. Like, I can't really describe it, but it's like, it will help me to see Elise through what I'm seeing, like how I see the world through my lens, but what she's actually feeling, so that I can actually understand it, which is amazing, because it is so hard to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a human being, it's so hard. And there's no one there to like mirror it back to you in the way that you understand, but hearing their perspective. Does that make sense? sense?
Which I don't know if we could do without AI, to be honest.
I don't.
Because
Yeah.
it's such a different layer. And what's really neat about this is that you take a conversation, like a difficult conversation, regardless of who it is that you're working with, even your spouse. You could use this even if, if you want to talk it over with your spouse, right?
Your employees, and your
Yeah.
employees could use it with you. Like it could be like a whole company thing. And that's the beauty of it. Can you imagine how many HR issues would not exist because you're able to like work stuff out, you know?
Exactly. And so kind of the ironic thing about it is that I can't always tell Aly exactly how I'm feeling because I'm afraid it's going to hurt her feelings or even vice versa. Like she can't tell me exactly how she's feeling because maybe she's going to say it in a way that, she didn't mean to, right? There's a lot of like arguments and it really just start to spiral downhill. But when you are using AI as a mediator with this particular app that we have an exact framework to be able to help you to really have these difficult conversations. It's not just chatting with, Chat GPT. We've trained it in a really specific way. But what happens is that I can sit there, Aly just said, she'll go first or I'll go first and then, we'll go second and just let it all out. And it becomes something not so personal. I can say, man, I'm really frustrated because, it feels like to me, Aly keeps changing her mind every week or whatever it might be, right? And she doesn't take it as personally because I'm not saying, Aly, you keep changing your mind every single week and it's really frustrating me. Adding in that third party, which sounds so weird, it really gives you the ability to just articulate what the frustration is. And then Aly gets to hear my side, my point of view of like, wow, I didn't even realize that I was causing that much frustration with what I was doing. You know what I mean? Right?
Oh, totally. And here's the way it like goes down. Like we're literally sitting on a call just like this, and we are listening to the other person talk to the AI. Like, so everything she's saying to the AI, it's not like she does her thing and I do my thing and then we come together. It's like we're doing it together, all three parties, if you can call it that. You know what I mean? Like we're all in it together, but there is something so freeing about being able to be honest without like, so that they hear it, but you didn't actually have to say it to them. But they're sitting right there. It's a weird, but it works. It works. And how many issues would that resolve just from being able to be honest in that way,
Yeah, because it just like takes down your guard, right? Because I'm talking to AI, I think in my opinion also, and I don't know if this is true for you, Aly, but I also take it out of like, even in my mind, even if as the person who's talking, I take it out of like, I'm attacking Aly. It's more of, I'm just telling you, this AI system, what I'm feeling. And Aly's hearing what I'm feeling and she can't deny what I'm feeling because it's what I'm feeling or it's what I'm experiencing. It's about me as opposed to turning the tables on her and accusing her. And so it really just neutralizes even that very first step of getting each other together, because you can use the like the voice feature or the dictate feature. Either way works great. And it will pick up when there's two people there. And so Aly lives in Texas and I live in Utah, so we hardly ever get to see each other in person, but we do everything via Zoom and virtually, and we can just talk to, both of us can talk to this AI agent right over Zoom or the phone or whatever. But it's really, really neat to be able to have that place where you can be completely honest, and it almost becomes more factual than finger pointing. And so I think that that's like the first thing of it gives you a place to be honest with each other. And like Aly said, that second amazing benefit is the fact that it helps you to see the other person's perspective. So that's number two. And then number three is it actually comes up with a plan. Like we know exactly, I mean, there's not a problem that we can't fix without our three companionship, right? Like Aly, me, and our AI agent, we can't be stuck on anything because it's trained on all Chat GPT stuff anyway. So it's going to take all of the information that Chat GPT has and help you break down an actual solution. And that it's not just working through your feelings or anything like that. It really puts it into a strategy place. But regardless of if you're heart-centered or you're mind-centered, like you're logical versus like feeling-based, it will meet you where you're at and help you to find that middle. And that is so powerful.
It is so powerful. It's beyond powerful. It's literally transformational because it's been fascinating because when we've had these like hard conversations, not just on communication, but like huge decisions that you have to make in business, right? Like help me to weigh the pros and cons of this. Or like, when you're running a big, huge, business, you're dealing with lots of people or lots of money or like everything is just exponentially bigger. So when you make decisions, it affects a lot more people. It affects a lot more, in the world. And so even if you weren't having a problem with a partnership, but if you're needing to like weigh out, like, is this like a good decision? Like, should I do this? Should I not do this? Like, what does that look like? You're able to get that feedback and that help to know how to handle all of that, in your business specifically. And yes, you're still using your own brain, but it's giving you the ability to think in different ways, to think outside the box, to think in a more strategic, but at the same time, I don't know what word to use, but maybe heart-centered, but just like a strategic and heart-centered way that makes sense to you. Because even though Elise and I see things totally differently, and at the end of the conversation, we both were satisfied, like more than satisfied. We both understood each other, and we both felt understood and seen. And it wasn't just because of the AI, it was because we used the AI with each other as a collective to figure it out. Because AI is only as good as the questions you ask, the types of things that you bring to it. It itself is what it is. Like it's AI, it's artificial intelligence, right? But when we take human intelligence and pair it with artificial intelligence, it becomes now superhuman, which is really cool,
Absolutely. And we always talk about there being two different versions of AI, what AI can stand for. There's artificial intelligence, which is a given. Everybody knows what that is. But there's also abundance and impact, right? If we are fighting with each other, or even if it doesn't come down to that, like it can be that I just don't agree with what she's doing, but I'm not going to say anything about it. And then it's going to blow up later on because we've all had that situation. So it helps you to work through those things, even when they're little, so that you can expand on it. And, it can be used in so many different ways within a company. It can be founder to founder. It can be manager to, frontline worker. It can be, CEO to the other C-suite members. It can be used in a boardroom if that's what you want to do. So there's so many applications for it. But I just want you to think back on your own business. You're building this business with, however many people you have in your employment, and like there's just so many pieces to your business, and it gets hard to keep track of sometimes. And think back to the last conflict that happened, because there is, like, we're human beings, we are going to have conflict. If you had a tool like this that can help both sides to feel validated, right? That's the number one need that we have, is not to be loved, but actually to be understood. That is our number one human need, right? So both sides to feel validated, both sides to see each other's perspectives and open up your mind a lot more to what the possibilities are, and then have something that's going to go out and give you a plan on how to tackle the problem that you're having, where really both sides are going to feel good about it. That is worth way more than you could possibly imagine. And we make this extremely affordable, guys. Like,
it's priceless,
this is,
to be honest.
yes, it's absolutely priceless.
Yeah.
And so that's going to help to save on employee retention, right? That's going to help to save on counseling bills, because I know there are some co-founders that go to counseling. Not to say there's definitely a place for counseling, let me just say that. But this is going to help you to be able to unlock levels of communication in every part of your business. And that is just so incredibly powerful and priceless, just like Aly said. So we built this out of our own need. And now we want to share it with you, because anything really is possible with AI. Whatever kind of challenge you are having, you can utilize AI to be able to help you get through it. Not to take the human piece out of it, right? HI, AI, they're both combined. You can't really have one. You can't have AI without the human component of it. And it should stay that way. That's
Always and forever.
my personal, yeah, exactly. So we don't have like, bots taking over the world or anything like that. But it's really, really important for us to focus on solutions with each other, as opposed to, and the similarities that we have, as opposed to the differences and the problems that we have. And so we really encourage you to check out the link below, because this is going to be a tool that you're going to use over and over and over again in your business. And just like with Aly and I, it's saved our business, I don't even know how many times, right?
Multiple times. And it's been so empowering as CEOs to know that no matter what we face, we will be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
And not on our shoulders to always figure it out either. Like, we can be in our human, we can be in our frustration or our overwhelm or our stress or our viewpoint, even if it's not an argument, even just our viewpoint, right? And if it differs, we can still find common ground. Now, do we figure it out in like 2 minutes? No. Like, you still have to work through it. Like, well, sometimes it's 2 minutes, but usually like it's a little bit more involved, because, there's still back and forth and everything. But it's so fascinating to watch each other as we're reading through or listening to how it's all like unfolding, right? Like whatever the AI is telling us, and stuff. It's fascinating to watch each other like have breakthroughs Because we're literally sitting, we're like, oh,
I didn't even think about it that way.
I didn't see it that way, but understanding it still, because the hard part is it's so frustrating when you're trying to help someone understand and they're just not getting it because the way that you're explaining it is the way you understand it, and it's not computing, and it's so frustrating. But when you can have a third party look at it from all these different angles, and again, nothing replaces counseling or therapy. That I'm in therapy myself, so there is a place for it. But I have to say, it's really nice to not have to say, hey, we need help with something, so can we book an appointment? It's like you're in the heat of the moment with something, right? And you're just like, we got to figure this out. And so you hop on a call and you just work it out, and it takes the worry and stress off of it, and it becomes, I mean, you're still worried and stressed initially, but then you're able to figure it out, and it's like, oh my gosh, well, yeah, that we got it, we got this, and it's just so empowering.
Yeah. We'll be building sales funnels and completely disagree. And it's like, well, let's take it to our AI, so that we can work it out. And just like Aly said with the time frame, I think our average is around 45 minutes to work out a big issue. Sometimes it takes just a couple of minutes, but it is so impactful and so important to take the time to work through those things. It's going to affect your bottom line like no other. And it can even role play with you. Let's say you have a new manager that needs to have a conversation with that frontline employee. It can role play with you. And the other thing is that it can also prepare you to have difficult conversations with your clients as well, or even bring that conversation to that client. If there's a client that you feel like there's miscommunication and you don't know how to get around that, bring in this AI, and it's going to be able to help you guys see eye to eye, because we're all just human anyway. I mean, even if you're a vendor of some other client or, whatever that relationship is, we're all just trying to do our best. And I think that that's the thing that we want to feel acknowledged. We want to be able to acknowledge the other person's perspective, which is not always easy. And we want to have a plan. And that's exactly what this does. So you've got to check it out, because this is going to save your business in so many ways. You're not even going to believe it.
It truly is. It truly is. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. Click the link.
Yes, exactly. So if you're in a season where communication feels like the bottleneck, or there's different types of communication issues within your business and your leadership, your team, or your partnerships, this is the AI solution that might shift everything for you. So reach out if you want to explore how it can work for you. And also the other really cool things that we do here at AI Agency, a Millionaire Momentum AI Agency, because we build out fully AI custom solutions for exactly the bottlenecks and the needs that you have within your business that fit your budget. So you've got to check out the link below, of course, for the AI system, but also m2aiagency.com. You can book a free AI growth session with us, and we will build out a custom AI growth plan for your specific business with your specific goals in mind and your specific needs. And we'll tackle one problem at a time with you so that you can really make that abundance and that impact that you're called to make, that other side, right? The other side of the AI. We're going to have our artificial intelligence help us to be. Aly, anything else you wanted to add?
If you're in business, you need us. Just saying. If you're in business, you need AI in your business, but you also need abundance and impact in your business. That's the whole purpose of why you got into business in the first place, is to have abundance for yourself and for everyone around you and those you give jobs to and or those that you serve, right? That's the whole point. And then the impact, obviously, that is what you do when you are able to share what your service is, what your product is, what your coaching is, whatever your corporation, if you are a big company, that is the point. And so if you can remember that you're in business to create abundance, to circulate wealth, to circulate jobs, to circulate everything, then you'll be able to see that what we were talking about earlier today about communication and everything, it all weaves itself together. And so if you can have better communication, if you can understand your partnership better, your business employees better, all of that, it's going to make the abundance and impact grow even more. And so that's what we stand for.
Awesome. So thank you guys for tuning in here today. We are excited to see you on our next episode, and just to check out m2aiagency.com and the link below so that we can help you to really start using artificial intelligence to create abundance and impact in your business at an even higher scale than you're at now. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
You've been listening to Mastering AI Momentum. If today's episode gave you clarity or sparked a breakthrough, share it, review it, leave us a comment, and show Aly and Elise how you're turning AI into ROI. And make sure you subscribe, because the next episode could be the strategy that unlocks your next level. Until then, build smart, scale fast, and let AI multiply your momentum.